So in our previous section, we talked about analytics, and in this section, we are going to talk about map to group. So what is map to group? Map to group helps in segmentation, and basically, if there are a bunch of users that have selected. So here in analytics, what we could see the stat, right? But with map to group, I can group the users and know who all actually selected those items, right? Selected those options. So map to group helps you in actually knowing who all selected what, right? So what we will do is we'll just go to the chat flow that we have created, and next, right next to analytics, what I'll do is I'll also call map to group, right? And as soon as we do this, what it's a similar concept that we have to have, which either we select from the groups that have already been created, or I could create a new one, right? So what I can name this, I'll just name it as is. I'll name it as DIY. I create this group. I select it from the listing and I save, right? The same goes for other options. So either you select from the already created group, or you uh, create a new one. So I think there, whatever I want, I don't know whether these groups have already been created. So they are not actually. So what I'll do is user guide, create group. When these are created, it would reflect here. Then I save this, right? And let us do the same for all. So map to group, locate as create group. And there is also actually coloring that we can add. This is just for just for identification that we do that. So so let me just show how that. Let me select another color. So there are a bunch of colors that we have, similar colors. And then we have it as help. We create the group. We'll list them, select from here. Let me see, right? So what we'll do is I'll just go and publish this chat flow. Okay. And there is a section called as group. So if you see, this is the group section here. And if you see, there are a bunch of groups that have already been created, right? So all the groups that I recently created, you can see them here. And if I view them, there are no entries here, right? And I can also download the CSV, but it won't have anything, right? It won't have any actual data to it, right? So there is no data here. And also I can edit the group and I can change the color and I can delete a group, right? So what we will do is, now that we have already published the chat flow, we have already published this. So we'll just go and do the same operation. What will do? I say hi. I think the chat flow is already active, so I will not even say hi. So I will show the invalid input because the chat flow is active. It's going to give me an invalid input, but the session has ended. So what happens is a new chat flow has come again. So in this options, what I do, I select one of this option, DIY, and I get this, right. I get this response here, right. And what we do the same for other options. Okay. So, and also help, right? One of those options is help. Okay. So as you can see, in the past, the data was empty. I was not getting any, there was no actual data there. But now if I go back here and if I go and download, I think locators, right? If I do a view, you can see the count is increased to 1. And if I download this report, I can see that there has been an actual entry, right? So as you can see here, you can see my profile name. Like I clicked on this on so and so time, right? So I can basically group users, and these are useful, just for reporting purpose. And second thing is, if there are different leads that you want, like let's suppose I want a service immediately, then I can group them in the hot lead section. If I want the service 15 days later, maybe warm lead. And if I want it 3 months down the line, so I can group them in the cold lead. So that way grouping is helpful, that I can use those data and those users data, and then maybe run campaigns on those users. So that is a use of grouping feature. And in our next section, we are going to talk about user segmentation. And user segmentation would be covering about how the chat history is captured. So stay tuned.